just to block out my scene, a few vertical cubes like this. Would you ever consider trying to make something straight from your mind? Yes, I do, but right now I'm really focusing. That was a question from Omal. Yeah, I've done a lot of things from my mind, but right now I'm just trying to focus on understanding how Blender works, especially in this kind of complicated uh, scenes. Usually, if you're just creating something from your mind, you have to make up everything from your mind, the lighting, the textures. So you have to do a lot of preparation. But since I'm still learning as well Blender, so I want to first get an understanding of how different things work, especially in the new render engine, without having the trouble of thinking of everything, like figuring out the design I want to use, things like that. That's why I just go I just go to Pinterest and find some interesting work that I can try replicating. That lets me just focus on understanding how the software works instead of just having that trouble of trying to learn while also trying to create a design. Hello Florian, you want to reproduce the picture? Yes, I want to do something like that. Hey, it looks like in the options you can save your preferences, which will create a file. You should be able to then, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Thanks DF. I'll try that next time. So let's start by creating these, just blocking out the scene, and I think this is a good way to start. And I also have this character from Mixamo, so I'm just going to, actually I don't think I have a character yet, but let's figure out the lighting. So just go to world, add a volumetric, add some volumetric lighting. So shader, principal volume, connect these to, then go to the render settings and reduce. So I'm going to have a very powerful light in the back here. Okay, why is that not working? Okay, yeah, maybe let me use an area light with a really high value. I'm French, that's why you can't say my name. Yeah, sure, if I told you my my second name, you would also find it very hard to pronounce. That's the beauty of online stuff. You can meet a lot of people and learn a lot of culture. Anyway, so I'm trying to get the lights here, just set up the light a bit so that I can preview the results that I'm going for here while I'm working. And maybe what we're going to do is let's just go to Google and find some building textures. Actually, and utilize those. We're going to be very rough in this. We're not going to care too much about the details. Hello, don't run. How are you doing? Why are you running? You should know what that means. Okay, let's get some few images here that we can use. Just going to drop it in and then add a plane. Create a new material, and then I can import that texture. this is a good image here, so I can drop this into Blender. I also need to add the Node Wrangler add-on. So we're going to cut in some details here. So these windows we can pull like that. I also want to add those windows as actual polygon detail onto the building. It will help us with nice details. So now I can just select these faces. First I will insert them using I, and then extrude out just a bit, insert, and then extrude in to have some bit of detail in there. Now I can just set up everything here in the materials. So we have some roughness. Let's add a math node here. And a car ramp, control that roughness a bit. Something like that. Now I'm going to start replacing these placeholder buildings that I added. Let me first turn off this volumetric. Maybe let me just go to this view so that I can preview the textures better. This is going to be our first building. I can use the array modifier. I can use the array modifier just to duplicate this on the Z axis. Just need to apply the rotation. Now I can have a few copies of this, and maybe let me just first make an entire building block from this. So Shift D, rotate this 90 degrees, rotate this 180, rotate 180, and we should have a building block like that. Now I can start replacing some of these buildings with this. We actually just remove a lot of them. And you can see this is not really going out of the screen. It's not tall enough, so I can use the array to make it taller like that. We need a couple of these, so I think I'm running out of clipping distance, so I can go to the camera settings and I increase the end to a higher value so that I can see the buildings in back there. Of course, we are going to add variation into the buildings, but for now, now let's go back to the world settings and try to add the volumetric and also preview the lighting in our scene just to see how things look. It's going to make it really low, something like 0.05. Maybe that is even still too high, maybe 0.1, like that. And let's start adding some color to this. Hello Sean Baker, how are you doing? And we can start adding more details to this as well. So I'm just going to find one of these buildings here. I think it's this here, and I can apply the array here and just isolate it as well. I can select, let's get rid of some of these repeating details. Let me just merge by distance to remove some of those. I can select maybe a portion like this. I'm just trying to add in this extra detail that you see there. Extrude that in like that, and maybe around there. Let me try adding a light, a point light like that, and see how that would look. Let's also add some HDRI lighting in our scene. So environment, find see. Hello Jeremiah, how are you doing? So just use something like this for the environment. But, make sure that the strength is not super bright. It's not super bright. And also let me try reducing the lighting from this here. I think that's good enough, because now we are starting to see other sources of light, in our scene. I think our street might need to be a little bit wider than what it is. Now we can also start working on different designs for our buildings. So I'm just going to block out another building here, around here, in a different style than we have here. So let's extrude this, and usually adding a bevel modifier like that helps with the design of the building. I usually like to add 2 bevel modifiers like that, one to add this kind of bevel, and then add another one to add a bevel over the bevel we have added. I can just add a shade smooth for both these to round off those corners a bit. Now any details that I add I get some extra details are provided by the bevel modifier we have added. Just working out different building designs here from my head. Now these buildings should be a bit taller, so I'm just going to select them, drag them down, and I just increase their array count. Let's add another light at the back here, and make it a really strong light. See, I think we need extra buildings placed around different areas. So this building here also needs some textures. Any plans for more motion graphic stuff? Yeah, sure. Just that right now I'm just trying to I'm trying right now. I'm just in that mode of finding art and trying to replicate it, because I haven't really tested out my Blender skills in just because when you just find what other artists have done, you can easily test out your skills other than just trying to recreate something from your mind, because if you just trying to, I don't know if I can explain this better, but if you're trying to create things out of your mind, what usually happens is that you try to limit what you want to do with the kind of skills you have. But if I just find work on Pinterest or ArtStation and just go and attempt to do something, I can find different things that I didn't know I couldn't do, or just to test. I'm doing this basically to just test out my skill level, and that's why I'm just getting into this more and more every time I do something. And I've recreated some of the artworks which you can see on my Discord server here. Some of the renders we have managed to pull from. Let me see. Just want to show you some of the renders we have done, some of the artworks that I've done, and most of these artworks I find on Pinterest. I have a board that I look at and I just try to recreate. Make sure I'm not showing some stuff I shouldn't be showing. So I find artwork on Pinterest and I just try to recreate it with, and also add my own twist to that kind of art. And I have this board here just to show you what we have so far done. And I think if you have been following the channel, you might recognize some of the artworks. I attempted doing this here. I haven't uploaded the video. I'll upload it later. So this is the latest we worked on, which you can see. I'm not sure if I posted the render yet, but it should be on the channel. Yeah, I think it's this here. It's this video here, and this is where is Okay, where have I put that? That piece was this piece here. So you can see I changed it a lot. You can't even recognize that it's the same. It's something that I got from there. I got the idea from there. But basically this was an idea I got from here. So I've been doing a lot of modeling in Blender, but I've never really tested out my skill to do something that I think could really work. So you think recreating stuff good for someone who more than beginner but not advanced? Even advanced, actually this is more for more advanced Blender users, because if you're just doing simple stuff, you are not really stretching, you're not really finding out the limits of your skills. So you have to go on and find artists who have who have better skills than you, and try to recreate their work. That's what I'm doing here, and I think my results are not too bad. By the way, this, let me just add an invite in the chat if you want to check out